Howdy guys, lovely to see you all again. It's been so long since I've done something evil. I thought I'd hit up the lovely band Death. Today we're going to be looking at the solo from Story to Tell. Let's take a look. Alright guys, so before we get too excited, we just need to talk about the tuning, which is D standard, which goes D, G, C, F, A, D. So get yourself in tune, and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. I'm going to slide into 12 of the 3rd string. Then I've got a semitone bend from 11. At the end of that, I work into this phrase, which is pretty cool. I'm going to go 11, 12 on the 3rd string. Hit 15 of the 2nd, and then jump back to 12 of the 3rd string. At the end of that, I start this sliding descent thing, and it's kind of working in power chords. So that kind of interval and finger distance is going to stay pretty similar all the way through that. So this is what we should have thus far. From that point, I'm going to play 11 of the 3rd string, and then slide from 14 to 12 on the 2nd. And then from that point, I'm going to play 9 of the 3rd and slide from 12 to 10 on the 2nd. From this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 7 of the 3rd string and slide from 10 to 8 on the 2nd string, but I'm going to add a slight pinch harmonic. I don't have a lot of distortion now, but when I do, it'll be a little bit more pronounced, if you will. At the end of that, I'm going to play 5 of the 3rd string, and now this time instead of descending, I'm going to ascend. So I'm going to slide from 8 to 10, then 10 to 12, then 12 to 10, and then just back to 8 again. So that one doesn't have a slide. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start now, nice and slow. At the end of that, that goes into this phrase. So what I'm doing is I'm playing 8, 10 on the 2nd, and I've got 4 bends in a row from 10 of the 2nd string. So what I've got there is 3 sort of slowish full tone bends up and back, and then the last one, the 4th one, is going to be a little bit more aggressive. Just sort of up and back with a sort of angry bent vibrato at the top of that. Then we work into the delightful shred run. So let's go through this slowly. I'm starting off with essentially an Aeolian shape. We're only working through sort of six note patterns just forwards and backwards. So I'm starting off by playing 5, 7, 8 on the 1st, or the 2nd and the 1st string. And then I'm just going to reverse that. 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5. So going forwards and back on that. Then I'm going to go up 7, 8, 10 of the 2nd string into 7, 8, 10 on the 1st. And then just reverse that. So we're going to go. And then from that point, I'm going to go 3, 5, 7 from the 2nd string to the 1st string. So the great thing is that all these sort of triplet couples that we've got here are the same shape on both strings. So this one's going to go like this. Nice and fun there. 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7 on both strings, forwards and backwards. And that's all of the first section. So I'll just do that little shred passage again. All right, let's go right back to the start of the section, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. more time with some tabs. All right, guys, let's have a look at the second section. I'm going to start from 7 of the second string and start with this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'll go from 7 to the second string. So I've got sort of 5 notes in a row there. 1, 2. I've got that little gallop there. 1, 2. Apple pie is literally what's going through my head there. At the end of that apple pie rhythm, I'm going to hammer from 7 to 8 and then jump to 7 of the third string. Then after that, I've got that apple pie rhythm again, but then I'm going to slide from 7 to 9 and then 9 to 11. At the end of that, just straight back to 9 without a slide. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far. Okay, then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. The start of that, I'm playing 7, 8, 10, and then reversing that on the second string. And then resolving that to 9 of the third. From that point, I was going, playing 8 of the second string, then a hammer on, pull off 7, 8, 7, and then I'm playing 9, 7 on the third. So all together, at the end of that, I'm going to play 6, 7, 9 on the third and resolve that on 7 of the second string. So all together of that chunk, hopefully that's all making sense. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start now at a more gentlemanly pace. Okay, let's move on to the next chunk now. These all have the same rhythm, it's just working in straight semiquavers or 16th notes if you would prefer me to call it that. I'm going to work through this. I'm going to have the same 4-note phrase 4 times. So I've got to pull off from 8 to 7 on the second string, playing 9 of the third, and then resolving that phrase on 7 of the second string. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, and that 4-note phrase is going to happen 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do a very similar idea, but this time I'm pulling off from 10 to 7 on the second string, jumping to 9 of the third, and then resolving to that 7 again. But I'm only going to do this 4-note phrase twice. That's the right one. So all together. Now the last 2 I have, it's going to be a little bit of a different shape. I'm going from 12 to 8 on the second string and jumping to 9 of the third. And from that point, backtracking to that 8 on the second string, I'm going to do that 4-note phrase twice. So all together. At the end of that, I've got sort of a 3-pulsed vibrato bend there. At the end of that, I'm going from 15 of the second string to 17 of the first, both with bends, and then I'm picking with my fretting hand to get that open 6th string to do that whammy dive, sort of that Eddie Van Halen thought process there, as opposed to having to go hit it with this hand and then do the other one. Bad times. My whammy's a little loose at the moment. I don't know why. It'd be great if it would get tighter. Anyway, that's pretty much all of the second section. I'm going to do it again at a gentleman's pace and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. All right, guys, let's have a look at the third section. Keep in mind the time signature is quite stupid on this, so I would ask you to be patient and feel free to go forward and back and forward and look at the slow tab as well. I think it's something like 9/4 and 7/4 bars. It's really, really dumb. Anyway, we're going to start off with this. What I've got here is 12 of the second string. I'm going to do 2 groups of 2. Then I've got a group of 4 on 10. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm resolving to 3 notes on 13 of the second string. I've got these really weird arpeggios here. I'm going to be playing 11 of the third string and 12 of the second and the first. Now I get to the top of that arpeggio from 12, I slide over to 15. And I'm going to play 15 of the second and 12 of the third. So we've got sort of like a stack of fourths there, and then like a G-ish power chord, I guess you could call it. From that point, I'm going to do a weird diminished thing. From 20 of the first string, I'm going to play 20, then 19 of the second, 17 of the third. And then I've got 19, 17, 16 from the first string to the third. I'm going to finish on a diminished again. So what I had there was 17, 16, 14 from the first to the third. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start now. Okay, the next bit is quite shreddy. This is really, really weird, but here we go. I'm going to slide into 17 of the second string. Then I'm going to hit 14 twice on the first string. Okay, then I go from 15 to 14 twice. So we've got... Okay, then I'm going to go 17, 14, 15, 14. All together. At the end of that, I'm going to play 17 of the second string, 14 of the first, and then 2 angry bends from 17 of the first string. All together now. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far, and then we'll have a look at the last run. Hopefully that's all making sense. Nailed it. Then we're working to this phrase. Now this, I've seen in so many Schuldner solos, so you will start to sort of get into his head after you learn a few of his solos. It's really, really cool. Anyway, I'm playing 15, 14 twice on the first string, 17, 16 twice on the second string, and then we work into this kind of similar phrase. It's nearly the same on all 3 strings. I'm going to play 17, 16, 14 on the third, and then repeat that 16, 14, and that's going to be sort of our traditional Schuldner 5-note shred grouping. I do exactly the same thing on the 4th string, and then I move that shape to 15 of the 5th string, except I've only got 4 notes there instead of 5. So I'm going 15, 14, 12, and then resolving to the 14. All together. And that's all of the third section. Let's go right back to the start, do it again at a gentleman's pace, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, last section. This one starts with those sexy octaves. I'm going to start from 12 of the 5th and 14 of the 3rd, and this shape is going to stay the same throughout this whole little piece here. I'm going to slide from 12 to 14, then 14 to 15, and then 15 to 14. So all together. Then from that point, I'm going to hit 14 twice and then 15 twice, just as regular chords. From that point, I'm going to slide from 15 to 17, then 17 to 15. And that's going to be half of our octave phrase. Now the next part is just sort of up and down. It's quite simple. Excuse me. I'm going to slide from 15 to 17, then 17 to 19. Then from that point, I'm going to make my way backwards. 19 to 17, 17 to 15, 15 to 14, 14 to 12. Let's have a look at that nice and slow. I'm going to add one more 12 to 14 at the end. All together. So I would say the hardest bit is the first bit, getting that double 14 and double 15 in there, because it doesn't flow quite as easily as the second half. But let's put together what we've got thus far anyway. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. All right, let's slow that down. I'm going to play 16 of the third string and then 17, 14 on the fourth. Then from that point, I'm going to play 17, 16 on the second and the third string. After that, I'm going to borrow that diminished shape we saw in the last section. I'm going to play 19 of the second string into 20 of the first, back to 19 of the second, and resolving to 17 of the third. Let's have a look at that phrase again, nice and slow. Okay, then from that point, I'm going to play 19, 20, 19, and then 17 on the second string. So it'll go at the end of that. That's right. We're going to pick the first two notes and then pull off this. So I'm going to play 19, 16, 17, 16. So I'm just pulling off that second group there. Then from that point, what I've got here is I'm playing 17, 16, 14 on the third string, then 17, 16, 14 on the fourth string, and then kind of resolving that on the 16, similar to those shapes that we saw before. So I'll play that last phrase again. And that is the whole solo. Let's go right back to the start of this phrase with the octaves at the start. We'll do it at a gentlemanly speed and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Rest in peace, Chuck. We love you. That was the solo from Story to Tell by Death. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you want to click the links in the description box to my Patreon, you can join up with that cool group of people and get tabs to every lesson that I do, as well as some extra giveaways for courses and other fancy stuff. Ultimate Shred Machine is out right now. If you guys want to up your chops in shredding, sweeping, legato, and tapping, and Rock Guitar Mode Mastery is also out now. If you want to up your understanding of how to use the modes in composition and improvisation as well, I have video courses on both of those if you are not much of a reader. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. I'll catch you all very soon.